Hey guys, welcome back to another YouTube video. Now in today's video, guys, I'm going to be doing yet again another original series Goosebumps book review for number 36, which is The Haunted Mask 2. First, as always, I do have a few announcements to make. As far as upcoming videos, as far as that goes, there are a lot of things that have came to mind, besides the updated Goosebumps collection. Just stay tuned for that. I'm still getting quite a few more stuff before I do that, but stay tuned for that especially, and I know you guys have probably heard that already 5 times, but also, I'm going to be looking over the mid-chapter patch notes for the next Dead by Daylight update, and another thing that came to mind, besides future book reviews or the future rounds for the horror slasher killer matchups, was I think I was going to do a top 10 for the best Goosebumps episodes. And I have not rewatched all the top 10 Goosebumps episodes, but I'm just going to do it based on memory, and a lot of the better ones I do remember quite well. So top 10 best Goosebumps episodes, that's something that's came to mind as well, so I'm probably going to be doing that pretty soon. So those are just some future videos to look forward to. Other than that, make sure you read the community posts so that you can stay up to date with any potential future changes, and join the Discord. Link is always in the description of every video. Other than that, let's get on to this review. If you haven't watched the latest review, which was for Piano Lessons Can Be Murder, I will now be including spoilers in all of my reviews, just to make it a lot easier on myself for trying to explain the plot and stuff like that. And I think it just makes more sense for a review sake, being able to go into detail, because this is assuming that if you're watching this review, this is assuming that you've read the book and you want to see how other people thought of the book. That's typically how I do it with reviews as well, for other people who upload review videos for Goosebumps books. But other than that, let's get on to the review. The Haunted Mask 2. Do not have any other copies besides the original copy for this book, but there's a lot of mixed feelings that I have for this book. Let's just go over the plot real quick so that I can give myself a refresher. Basically, we get the perspective of Steve. And Steve, if you don't know, in the first Haunted Mask, he was the kid who was scaring Carly Beth and all that. Well, now we have the perspective of Steve in this book, which is really, really interesting. And this year, the reason why he wants to get a haunted mask is the year after Carly Beth's, when she wore the haunted mask. This year, he wants to find a terrifying mask for himself, because for a punishment at his school, he had to coach the first grade soccer team, and they were really, really rude to him. They're always playing tricks on him and stuff like that, so he wants to get back at them this Halloween. So he asks Carly Beth, he gets her to confess where she got the mask by, like, throwing around her sculpture head or whatever with his friend Chuck, and she eventually tells him where she got it. And they go to the store, but they find that it is closed. So they look around the store, try to find any entrances. So they see that there's like a little hatch that goes to the basement of the store. And when they go in the basement, they see that all the party supplies and all that is packed up, because the man who owns the store, the creepy old man that we heard from in the first book, he's trying to close up the store before Halloween. And in the episode, you see that he's trying to burn all the haunted masks before Halloween night. And so when they go in the basement, the old man hears them in the basement, so Chuck makes a run for it, but Steve isn't able to do that before he gets downstairs. So he eventually tries to go for a run for it as well, and he escapes from the old man, and he manages to steal one of the haunted masks, and that is this creepy old man mask. They describe it as this in the book, but in the episode it looks a bit different. And it's this really, really creepy old man mask. It's got, like, spiders crawling out of it, like real spiders. They describe it as, in the episode you can see that they're real crawling spiders. It's got, like, this little patch on the top of the head, as you can see. It's got, like, this one tooth sticking out, so it's a really, really creepy old man mask. And Steve tries it on, I believe, one time, and that's it. And then he leaves it on for the rest of the book until he does eventually get it off towards the ending of the book. But I believe he only puts it on one time, unlike Carly Beth, who put it on, I think, once or twice, and then she put it on the last time, and she had to use the symbol of love to get it off. But in this book, Steve puts it on one time, and he can't take it off after just trying to try it on. So he kind of hides from his parents, trying to pretend like he's sick or whatever. In which he kind of is. I mean, he starts literally turning into an old man. His bones are very, very weak. He gets exhausted by doing the simplest of things. So eventually, the next day after trying it on, he just decides he's going to confess to his parents. Well, I'm just gonna pretend like this is the costume or whatever that I'm gonna be wearing. So he puts on the mask, and he was supposed to be a hobo this year, but he puts on the mask, and his dad and his mom, or well, his dad more specifically, likes the costume. He thinks it fits the whole hobo costume, so he gets away with it. And he eventually goes out to scare those first graders, and he does succeed in that. But he's still having trouble trying to take off the mask. He's asking for help throughout the neighborhood. Nobody wants to help him. And I forgot how he eventually got the mask. Oh, yes. So eventually he goes to Carly Beth to figure out how he can take it off. She says that you need to take it off by the symbol of love. So they try a few things. They don't work. So it turns out that there's a different method for taking off each haunted mask. And in this one, the way he got it off, instead of using the sculpture as a symbol of love, he found the suit that goes with the old man mask, and the mask plopped off his head and attached to the suit, and then the suit, I think, like, flied away or something like that, and that's how he eventually got it off. And then the twist ending is Carly Beth and Steve are walking home, and Steve remembers that Chuck left a while ago, so he's thinking about Chuck just now, and then while they're walking, a guy pops out of the forest or whatever, and he's got this really, really terrifying, they describe it as like a purple mask or whatever, and he says it's Chuck, and I found this mask in the party store. He said I grabbed it right before I darted out of the place, and he says, well, can you guys help me, because I'm having trouble take off the mask. So it's kind of foreshadowing that Chuck now has to deal with the whole mask thing, and he's got to find a different method to take off the mask. So overall, a pretty interesting ending there. So that's basically the plot of the book. What are my thoughts on it? Now, I will say, for this book, rarely I do say this, but it doesn't really matter if you watch the episode or you read the book first. The book and the episode are very, very different in terms of how he gets the mask off, and some other things like that. Like in the episode, the old man is seen in the basement trying to burn the masks, and the mask that Carly Beth wore last year comes back from underground where she buried it and attaches itself to the old man. And instead of the old man mask attaching to the suit, the way he gets it off is that he has to steal the sculpture head from Carly Beth's house, then he has to return it to him, and then he'll get rid of his face or whatever, but he doesn't keep that promise. He doesn't get rid of the face. So eventually he tries to, I suppose we can just say it, he tries to kill Carly Beth, but the old man steps in the way to block him, and that was considered a symbol of love, so he gets the mask off. And at the end of the book, they burn their masks, and nothing really much happens after that. The dog starts playing with the mask and burning it and whatever, and that's pretty much it. So it doesn't really matter if you read the book first or you watch the episode first. I'm still kind of hung on whether or not I like the episode more than I like the book. But overall, I think I did enjoy the episode a little bit more, and I was expecting this book to be really, really similar to the episode, which kind of made me a little bit disappointed. There was a few things that I was a little bit disappointed in that I wish I could have seen more of. In the episode, we got a lot of Steve in the old man mask, trying to find help, trying to get people to help him, get him some water, stuff like that, and help take off the mask, but everybody's just terrified of the old man mask. I wish we had more of that in the book. And it's not that the pacing necessarily affected it. I think the pacing was fine, but there just wasn't, I just don't think there was enough of the whole, trying to go around the neighborhood and having people help him. He kind of was just on his own, trying to figure out what he could do to get help, and he eventually just decides to go to Carly Beth. And I don't think that was as interesting as what the episode did, and I really think that the episode's method of him getting the mask off was just a lot more interesting. Although I will say I liked the ending of the book, like the twist ending, more than I liked the ending of the episode. The episode's ending was overall pretty satisfying. It didn't ruin anything for me, but I just think this was a little bit more interesting because at least there was a twist in the episode. There wasn't a twist at all. But even then, I could argue whether or not it's better to have a twist or not to have a twist, because if you don't have a twist, well, it's satisfying to see the masks finally burn in the fire. But if you do have a twist, well, then that foreshadows, and you think about what would happen after that, so I don't know. I'm really hung on whether or not I like the episode more than I like the book. There's some aspects that I like the episode more. There's some other aspects where I like the book more, so it's just very difficult to decide. But I am a little bit disappointed on certain parts. Just mainly the fact that I wish there was more of what the book showed, where he's trying to get help and stuff like that. But other than that, as far as the concept goes for the Haunted Mask 2, I always enjoyed having Steve's perspective over Carly Beth's perspective. Especially if you're watching the episode between the Haunted Mask and the Haunted Mask 2. It's really weird watching Carly Beth, scaring people around the neighborhood. It feels like she's a psychopath, but it's a lot more interesting seeing Steve begging for help and nobody wants to help because the mask is just so terrifying. I just like the idea more that you're wearing this mask and you're helpless, you're weak, you're breaking down, you don't know what to do. I just think that's a lot more interesting than some girl wearing a mask and she's basically turning into this like psychopath. I just find it a little bit cringeworthy. But in the Haunted Mask 2, it's a little bit more believable and less cringeworthy and stuff like that. Because at first, if you watch the episode, at first he's having fun, he's scaring kids and stuff like that. But later on, he starts getting weaker and he's losing energy, and he's trying to beg for help or whatever. So overall, there are a few disappointing aspects, but I did still enjoy it quite a bit. I did like the twist ending. Still don't know if I like the twist ending more than I like the episode ending. I'm not even going to go anywhere further than that, but overall, the Haunted Mask 2, I am satisfied. There just are a few disappointments here and there, which is going to bring it down a little bit on a scale of 1 to 10. So overall, I'm going to give this a lower score than I gave for the Haunted Mask. I think the Haunted Mask 2 episode is better than the Haunted Mask episode, but I think that the Haunted Mask book is better than the Haunted Mask 2 book. So overall, for the Haunted Mask 2, what will I be giving it on a scale of 1 to 10? I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Still a really great book. I just wish it was, it's just the episode was just better. They came up with a new concept that I think just worked more than the book, and that's just very, very unfortunate. So the Haunted Mask 2, still a great book. Don't get me wrong. Just a little bit disappointed here and there. So yeah, that's it for the book review. All right, so sorry I might have blabbled on there. At least I made this review a lot shorter than I made for the last review for Piano Lessons Can Be Murder. But other than that, make sure you stay tuned for that future content that I announced at the beginning of the video. Read the community post to stay up to date with any potential future changes. And join the Discord. Link is always in the description of every video. Make sure you go. I've heard a lot of people say that the link is expired. Make sure you go to the latest video. I try to make it so that the link never expires, but I don't know if the link actually goes along with those rules. So just so you have the highest chance of being able to actually join, make sure you just go to the latest video, click on the link on that one. That way you have a better chance at it. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Like and subscribe, guys, and I'll see you next time.